Have you ever had the pleasure to be around a couple who has been together for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years? At times I thought a relationship that lasted this long was a myth. However, after watching my grandparents who were married for 50 years and speaking to clients who have experienced the same, I'm happy to say that this type of relationship isn't just for fairy tales. And it's not just because they lived in a different time. It's because they have cultivated certain habits and communication processes to help their relationship succeed. We all have a chance to build and sustain a long-lasting relationship. But how? What can we do every day to make sure our relationship stays healthy? Well, I've done some research on long-lasting couples, 50 years plus, and today I'm going to share with you 10 tips that these badass couples have recommended. Hello Moodlings, my name is Dr. Nicole Lunan and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Moodme, a new app that allows you to share over 400 plus moods, emotions, and desires with your partner, thus making communication simple, fun, and super easy. So download Moodme, it's free and you can find it in the Apple Store and Google Play. So let's go over some tips that long-lasting couples who've been married for 50 years plus have recommended. Tip number 1. Let your partner know that you're thinking about them throughout the day. Remember when you first met your partner, how excited you were to receive flirty text messages like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," or "I miss you." Your heart would skip a beat every time you'd see their name pop up on your phone. Just the simple process of receiving a text or a phone call throughout the day affirmed that your partner was in fact thinking about you, that they cared about you. According to long-lasting couples, we should continue to let our partner know that we are thinking about them throughout the day. If you want your partner to feel desired, make sure you let them know just how often they're on your mind. Let your partner know that you're thinking about them and putting them first in your thoughts. It takes seconds to send an "I'm thinking about you" text. And when you can include this habit in our daily lives, we are one step closer to creating a lasting relationship. Tip number 2, let them express their feelings first. Sharing is caring. In conflicts, I know that we have a bunch that we want to say and we can't wait to make our point or share our perspective. However, research suggests that letting your partner express their feelings first and actively listening to the point of even making mental notes or physical notes will help you have a long-lasting relationship. The physical notes concept can be really helpful in conflicts because instead of wanting to jump in on the conversation, you can actively listen by jotting down notes and understanding your partner's perspective. And then you can repeat back the points to affirm that you understand their concerns and desires. Tip number 3, accept your partner as they are. According to long-lasting couples who've been married for 50 years and on, we have to accept our partner as they are and stop trying to change them. Trying to change another person is an uphill battle that we are sure to lose. People change on their own time, and only if they're intrinsically motivated to do so. That means that they have discovered the motivation within. That doesn't mean that if we nag them enough about things that we don't like about them, that they'll make lasting changes. If anything, they may act like they made the changes and start to hide their behavior because they feel judged or unsafe to be themselves around a fixer-upper. Sometimes we may think, if only our partner did this, then they would be great. And that is quite certainly conditional thinking. Also, if your partner did the things that you wanted, they might lose the very reason why you fell in love with them in the first place. Our safest bet to help our partners feel loved is just to accept them for who they are and give them a safe and non-judgmental place for them to work out their stuff. Tip number 4, imagine how your life would be without them. According to long-lasting couples, we should imagine how our life would be without our partner to gain perspective. When I first researched this tip, I was really confused. Why would I think about my life without my partner? So I took a day and I really tried it. And immediately I felt myself going into a deep state of gratitude. Kisses felt like they were when we first started dating, and my heart began to open up because thinking about my life without my lover snapped me into a deep appreciation. It made me feel really human and that time was passing. And we should not take this for granted. We forget to be grateful for the little things, like getting the chance to wake up to your lover, that they're healthy, that you get the gift of another day with them. All the stupid little fights melt into the background when you focus on how precious time is and that you actually found this beautiful person. Just because your relationship gets rocky from time to time doesn't mean that you and your spouse aren't a good match. Just try imagining life without them, and you'll immediately realize how important they are to you. If you knew that you wouldn't have another day with your partner, how would you treat them today? What would you do differently? Tip number 5, know which fights to pick and which ones to meet your partner halfway. According to research completed on long-lasting relationships, we have to be really specific about which fights we choose to have with our partner and when we should just compromise. Relationships are all about compromise. That means we have to find ways to meet our lover in the middle. We have to learn to share. There's a natural tug-of-war that happens in relationships known as a power struggle. As you get to know your partner better, you'll begin to navigate which topics are soft and which topics are hard, meaning that if you pick a fight, you better be ready for a full-on war. So on the soft topics, do your best to compromise. If they want to wash the dishes after you eat, then let them. Is that a topic that you really want to pick at? Is that how you'd like to use your emotional resources? If you choose to fight your partner about every little thing you have an issue with, that can come off as critical. So scope out and make sure to assess the entire relationship. If the majority of your relationship is feeling healthy and good, do you really want to pick a fight about leaving the socks on the floor? Pick your battles, know that nobody is perfect, and learn to compromise. Tip number 6, have a sense of humor about yourself and your relationship. According to couples who have made it to 50 years and on, we have to be able to laugh about ourselves, our partner, and the relationship. I was at a comedy show the other day and the comedian was poking jokes at relationships and people were so serious. Like, why so serious? The things that happen in our relationships are at times wildly absurd. And I know they feel life-altering at the time, but if you learn to look back, you can find humor. We all do crazy things when we're in love, and we can learn to turn the serious down, lay our ego aside, and learn to bring in light with laughter. I think one of the best things is when you and your partner can just laugh at some of the fights that you had and think about how insignificant but actually hilarious they are in this present moment. Tip number 7, don't be afraid to give each other space. Everyone, no matter who you are, needs space from time to time. When we're constantly with our partners, we don't have a chance to deeply process because sometimes deep processing needs to be done alone. You need space to go through your own feelings and emotions without your partner's energy around. Also, you don't want to lose your sense of self and fall into codependency. Make sure to maintain your own relationships and create time to spend with your friends and family independently of your partner. Space also acts as really big foreplay because it allows you the chance to actually miss your partner and long for them. If you don't give each other space, you can start to feel annoyed with each other, nitpick each other, and fight more often. I know it's scary sometimes, especially for those who suffer from separation anxiety and fear of abandonment. But giving your partner space will allow them to breathe, feel free, and to heal, and ultimately lead them right back into your arms. Tip number 8, stop looking for opportunities to leave. Are you a runner in the relationship? According to couples with long-lasting relationships, we have to stop looking for reasons to leave. That means we need to put our running shoes away and intentionally choose to stay. Arguments don't have to result in the end of the relationship. Just because things might be rough right now doesn't mean that they'll be that way forever. Remember, relationships go through ups and downs. If you're inclined to run, admit that to yourself. Stop looking for the exit and look for a solution. This will stop you from going through the breakup and makeup process and draining all of your energy. Saying you're gonna leave or throwing around the D word are huge deals, especially if you change your mind the next day. Instead of looking for reasons to leave, change your perspective and assess the reasons why you would like to stay. Tip number 9, the grass isn't always greener. When we're in relationships, sometimes we begin to think that the grass would be greener on the other side, meaning that another person could make us happier or that we would be more happy single. That could be true for some, especially those in toxic relationships, but it's definitely not certain for everybody. Relationships are hard and take work. You gotta get out of bed and choose to be with this person even though they're annoying the crap out of you kind of work. Why? Because you've chosen to love them through the good and bad. There isn't a magic relationship that requires no work or to be smooth all the time. Each person has their own baggage, and so do we. Being single can be a challenge as well, getting back out there, navigating the dating world. It's not easy. With all the dating apps out there, one would think, oh, I'll just find another person. But unfortunately, many of the patterns of conflict that we experience isn't dependent upon our partners. It's us. It's our trauma, an internal conflict that manifests outwards. So we can try to outrun our issues, but life has a funny way of bringing those patterns back up in new partners. We can't run away when the person that we're running from is ourselves. According to long-lasting couples who have made it to 50 years and on, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Each choice we make has a bag of costs and changes that accompanies with them. And lastly, tip number 10, touch your partner. Physical affection with one another is of the utmost importance according to long-lasting couples who've been together for 50 years and on. There are some that say sex is boring with the same person over and over again. Research suggests that isn't completely accurate. If you have a routine in bed, yes, that could be boring, or maybe not. Maybe you really, really like that routine and it does it for you. Either way, there's something to be said about spontaneity. Try it in a new position. Try it in a new place. The hotels, the car. Remember what it's like to be a teenager. Experiment with role play. Meditate together before sex. Massage each other before sex. The heart chakra and the sacral chakra are both sensual, powerful, and spiritual, meaning that they can take you to a completely different reality when evoked together. There's a depth in you and your partner that you can explore together, and endless recipes to please each other. This also goes for non-sexual touch. Make sure to cuddle, kiss, find reasons to touch each other every single day. Oxytocin is released when you're close and cuddled with your partner. This happy hormone will be produced in both non-sexual and sexual touch. When you stop touching each other, one partner could take this as a sign that you're no longer interested and feel that they're not desirable anymore. This could create more distance in your relationship and block intimacy. So when in doubt, kiss, hold hands, and hug your partner. This will help your relationship last. All right. That's 10 tips from long-lasting couples who've been together for 50 years plus. I'll be going over another 10 tips in our next video, so stay tuned. Did these tips help you? If so, leave a comment in the section below, and see you later, Moodlings. Also, download Moodme!